In the early 1980s, Singapore was changing fast. Tall buildings were rising, machines were humming, dreams were moving quicker than people could catch them. And at the center of all that movement was Elena. From the outside, her life looked perfect. She was the CEO of a growing tech company, rare, respected, powerful. Every morning, she put on her suit, kissed her children goodbye, and stepped into a world that demanded strength, intelligence, and endless energy. Meetings, decisions, deadlines. Success followed her like a shadow. But when the office lights went off and the doors closed behind her, Elena returned home to another full-time job: motherhood. A crying infant, a toddler needing attention, a house that never truly rested. And Elena was tired. Not the kind of tired that sleep could fix. This was a deep, bone-level exhaustion. The kind that settles into your spirit and whispers, "You can't keep doing this alone." Her husband, David, was there but not really there. He provided, he spoke when spoken to, but the warmth they once shared had faded into routine silence. Conversations became brief. Smiles became polite. Something between them had quietly slipped away. Still, Elena held on to one thing with all her heart: her faith. Every night, after the house finally went quiet, she knelt beside her bed. She prayed not for success, not for money, but for protection, for wisdom, for her children, for her home. She didn't know it then, but those prayers were already working. The breaking point came one evening when Elena stood in her kitchen, staring at the mess around her. Toys on the floor, bottles in the sink, laundry waiting to be folded. Her baby cried in the next room. And Elena cried too. That was the night she admitted what she had been fighting for months. "I need help." It felt like failure. In her mind, strong women didn't ask for help. Strong mothers didn't need it. But reality was louder than pride. Within days, she hired a maid. Her name was Mei Lin. From the very first moment Mei Lin stepped into the house, everything changed. She was calm, quiet, respectful, almost too perfect. The house began to shine. Meals were prepared without being asked. The children slept peacefully. Even the air inside the home felt lighter, calmer. Elena noticed something strange. For the first time in months, she could breathe. Days passed. Then weeks. Mei Lin never complained, never asked questions, never raised her voice. She worked endlessly, almost joyfully, as if serving the family gave her purpose. David noticed her too. At first, it was nothing. Just small conversations, polite smiles, shared glances that lasted a second too long. Elena didn't see it, not yet. But something inside her felt uneasy. It started with small things. Things that made no sense. Late at night, Elena would wake up and pass by the maid's room. Sometimes the door was slightly open. And when she glanced inside, her heart would tighten. Mei Lin didn't sleep like a normal person. Her body lay twisted in unnatural positions. Arms bent oddly. Head tilted back. Still. Too still. Elena told herself she was imagining things. Stress does that to people, she thought. But her spirit didn't agree. As a devout Christian, Elena had learned to listen to that quiet inner voice, the one that speaks when logic fails. And that voice kept whispering, "Be careful." So Elena prayed harder. Every night, she prayed over her children's rooms. She placed her hands gently on their doors and asked God to protect them while they slept. She had no idea she was building something unseen. An invisible wall. A shield. Meanwhile, David was drifting further away. He stayed out late. His phone never left his side. When Elena spoke, he nodded without listening. And Mei Lin was always there. Too helpful. Too attentive. Too close. What Elena didn't know was that temptation had already found its way into her home. Quietly. Patiently. Wearing a gentle smile. Still, nothing seemed wrong on the surface. The children were healthy. The house was peaceful. Elena's career continued to rise. This was the calm before the storm. One afternoon, Elena knelt in prayer longer than usual. Her heart felt heavy, though she didn't know why. She prayed for protection again. She prayed against hidden evil. She prayed against things she could not see. And somewhere in the same house, something listened. Maylin passed by the children's room later that day. She paused at the door. Her face changed for just a moment, frustration flashing across it like a crack in glass. Whatever she tried to do failed. Again, the shield held. Night after night. Attack after attack, unseen, unnoticed, blocked by a praying mother who had no idea she was standing between her children and darkness. Chapter 1 ends here, with peace that feels fragile, with danger hiding behind perfection, and with a truth waiting to reveal itself in the most terrifying way possible. When you're ready, MK, just say continue with Chapter 2, and I'll take you straight into the moment that changes everything. Some moments divide life into before and after. For Elena, that moment came on an ordinary afternoon, the kind that never warns you it's about to change everything. Her meetings ended early that day. No delays, no last-minute calls, just a quiet, unexpected chance to go home sooner than planned. As she drove, she felt a strange heaviness in her chest. Not fear exactly, more like a pull. A whisper telling her, go now. The house looked normal when she arrived. Too normal. No music. No footsteps. No children's laughter. Just silence. Elena stepped inside and called out. No answer. Her heart began to beat faster as she walked down the hallway, past the kitchen, past the maid's room, toward the nursery. The door to her infant son's room was slightly open. And that's when she heard it. A low sound, not a cry, not a voice, something in between. Elena pushed the door open. What she saw shattered her world. Maylin stood near the crib, but she was no longer the woman Elena knew. Her body was twisted, unnatural. One leg bent backward like an animal's. Dark horns curved from her head. Her eyes glowed red, not reflecting light, but producing it. And she was staring at the baby. For a split second, time stopped. Elena couldn't scream, couldn't move, couldn't breathe. Then something deeper than fear rose inside her.
Faith.
Elena, the creature said calmly, her voice smooth and cold. You weren't supposed to come back yet. The room felt heavy, like the air itself was pressing down. What are you? Elena whispered, clutching her chest. Maylin turned slowly, no longer hiding anything.
I was sent, she said.
Sent to destroy this family. Elena's knees shook, but she did not fall. Why? She asked. Because homes like yours are dangerous, the witch replied. Faith like yours interferes. The creature laughed softly. I tried everything, she continued. Poison in the food, sickness in the night, fear in their dreams. Elena's blood ran cold. But every time, the witch snarled, something stopped me. She turned her glowing eyes toward the walls. Your prayers, she hissed. They burned. That was the moment Elena understood. Every night on her knees. Every whispered plea. Every tear-soaked prayer for protection. They had built a wall no evil could cross. The witch stepped back suddenly, as if pushed by an invisible force. She growled in frustration. You don't even see it, she said. But your God does. Before Elena could respond, a sound echoed down the hallway. David. He stood frozen in the doorway, his face pale as death. His eyes moved from Elena to the creature to the crib. What is this? He whispered. The witch smiled. Oh, David, she said softly. You already know. The truth fell like a hammer. The late nights. The distance. The secret meetings. Elena turned to her husband, her heart breaking and burning at the same time. You invited this into our home, she said quietly. David tried to speak and collapsed. His body hit the floor hard. His limbs twisted, locked in place. Paralysis seized him in an instant. The witch's smile faded. Your sin bound you to me, she said coldly. And now you pay. Elena dropped to her knees beside David, but she did not beg the witch. She prayed. Out loud. With power. She called on the name she trusted more than fear. More than logic. More than sight. Her voice shook, but it did not break. The room trembled. The witch screamed, a sound not human, not earthly, as the invisible shield surged forward. Light filled the room, not blinding but pure. And just like that, Mei Lin vanished. No smoke, no sound.
Gone.
Silence returned, heavy but clean. David gasped. His fingers moved. His legs loosened. He wept, not from pain, but from shame. "I'm sorry," he cried. "I didn't know. I didn't understand." Elena held him, tears streaming down her face. "I prayed for this family," she said, "even when I didn't know what we were fighting." Days passed. David healed fully, but not without scars on his soul. He repented. He changed. The man who stood beside Elena afterward was not the same man who had fallen. Stronger. Humbled. Awake. The house felt different too. Lighter. Protected. Elena never forgot what she saw, but she understood it now. Evil does not always arrive as darkness. Sometimes it arrives as help, as comfort, as perfection. And faith is not passive. It watches. It warns. It protects. Elena continued her prayers, not from fear, but from gratitude. Her family had survived the unseen. And that, MK, is the lesson that echoes long after the story ends. The most dangerous threats are the ones we welcome inside, and the strongest protection is faith that never stops watching.